Hi guys, it's way too hot to be doing this. I think it's over 100 Fahrenheit, 40 something Celsius out here in the conservatory. But we've got an empty cardboard box, so I'm going to make a rubber band powered car. I'll just check that I'm recording properly. Yeah, looks like we've got audio recording. Right. A tissues box, Kleenex. I've actually cut the end there so we can actually fold that back in, because we'll drill holes through front and back for the axles to go through, and that'll mean we can reach inside and get to the axle to wrap the rubber band around it. Wheels, as usual, I'm going to use CDs. Axles, I'm going to use knitting needles from Poundland. These happen to be 4mm. They're probably just a little bit narrow for that width of cardboard box, because there's a lot of leverage in the middle there and they might bend a bit. You could use thicker ones. That CD has got a 3D printed hub, because I find them quite useful, and I have a 3D printer. But you could just as easily hot glue bottle caps on there, or if you haven't got a hot glue gun, you can just tape them on. That's sticky tape. Or cardboard. All you're doing is filling up the gap in the middle of the CD. So a bit of cardboard taped either side, and that'll do the job as well. I like my 3D printed ones, so I will use them. Oh, I might use a couple of the other ones. Right, next thing we're going to do, we're going to measure from the ground, in effect. For no particular reason, I think I'll come up 40mm there, and at the top end 290mm from the bottom. Over here, same again, 40. You can't even see the top end, can you? You just have to believe me, won't you? There we go, 290 I've marked at that end. And the other thing we want to do, let's get the same height. Okay, so that's going to be there. That's going to be there. You could remeasure it, but by the time I've pushed some holes through there, it won't be perfectly accurate anyway. For the holes, I've got some screwdrivers here. So don't stick holes in your fingers when you're pushing through, because that wouldn't be a good idea. These are fairly blunt, but you can still poke them in through your skin and make yourself bleed. I happen to have a few screwdrivers here, so I can work up through the sizes. If you find the car is running off to one side a bit, you can adjust the size of the hole to slop it forwards or backwards a bit. My cars never run straight. I usually point them off in one direction just so they end up hitting the camera at the other end of the room. Let's just check those are big enough. Yeah, they're nice and loose. So with that folded in, we can get to the axle. Next thing we're going to do is get some super glue, which I had there somewhere. That fell on the floor. There we are. And put super glue in those holes, because that stiffens it up. When that dries, that makes the hole nice and stiff so it doesn't tear, or at least doesn't tear as easily. The other thing we want is a hole up at this end to attach the rubber band. Right, because I left the cap off, I've leaked some there. So we'll wipe that up before we forget about it. Oh, I want to glue that out the way as well. Right, wheels. That one's a bit of a loose fit on there. Okay, I'll push the other one on in a minute. Let's just have a look at some of these. The ones that are taped on, you can wobble around a little bit to straighten them up. Just looking to see if I can do a bit of a... Oh, that one's a bit too loose on there. That one's a bit... Oh no, that's going on. Yeah, that'll do. I'm delaying putting this one on because I know it's going to be quite tight, so I'm going to have to tap it to get it on there. I'll do that and then we'll be ready. We have 4 wheels in place. You could cut this off. A little bit bent. But I shall leave it because I can reuse it again. Same with the ones at the front that they're sticking out. You could cut them off. Right, rubber band. Right. Poke that through that hole. And up through that hole. And then over the axle. Wind it over itself. Easier if I do it from that side. There we go, so you can see. Job done. I'll give it a run up the kitchen. Rubber band over the top, around the axle, wind it up. Yeah, that was always going to catch on something sticking out like that, wasn't it? But that's good enough. We'll see if we can hit the camera now. That ran surprisingly straight. Hit the camera first time, no trouble at all. So quick summary, 4 CDs for the wheels. You can use bottle caps or 3D printed hubs or cardboard. I've used knitting needles, 4mm knitting needles, aluminium for the axles, rubber bands, and a Kleenex tissue box. If you wanted, you could run it that way up as well. Put my little friend on top so he can use it as a skateboard.